off. I've never done it like this.
Hello, everybody.
All right. Good morning, everybody. This is Aaron Thomas, aka Native Seahawk. I'm with my co-host, Vega. How are you this morning?
Good for an early morning start. Not bad.
Hey,
I'm more of a late riser.
the podcast is called The Loud and Devoted. So
Yeah.
we're definitely devoted coming on at
Show
8:15.
devotion right now.
Yeah.
No coffee.
But just like, you see some folks on Twitter talk about the fact they couldn't get much sleep last night because they know, like, it's almost like the day before Christmas, right?
It
And
is.
just didn't get any sleep. Some people were putting on Twitter this morning that they had some really bad nightmares for the game today.
I did not have that. That was good.
Yeah, no, I slept like a baby last night, although I was out last night with some friends celebrating a birthday. But
That'll help get you sleep.
that and plus some grandpa's cough medicine could really help there too.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to cut myself off today because I was like, or last night because I was like, all day today I'll be drinking some pretty good some booze today. So I was like, I better stop.
Yeah.
It's definitely a marathon.
Clear out the liver.
Yeah, exactly.
Clear
So
out the
those
liver
of you
before
that
binging again.
for those of you that don't know who I am and who Vega is, I met Vega at a preseason game at Sluggers, and I told her, I was like, I'm down here. I live in Palm Springs, California. I'm a Cougar, born and raised on the Lummi Reservation up there in Bellingham, and or near Bellingham. And so I sat and talked, had a drink with Vega and her dad, and we just sat and talked football for like hour and a half before the game,
I think
something
so.
like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
you
hey,
blinked and like, oh, it's time to go to the game.
yeah. And I'm like, Vega, first of all, you're you're a very attractive person, and not just your looks, but your mind. But then I'm like, you can talk your ass off with football. Will you please help me with my podcast?
No problem.
And your dad's
I could go on and on and on.
Your dad's like, oh man, yes, she is made for this. He was like your biggest agent. It was so funny.
Thank you.
Anyway, so today, here it is, game day. Can you believe it?
I know. It's like you've been waiting for months and months and months. Like ever since the draft, I've been like, oh my God, Seahawks, let's go. And then the preseason is like just a little taste of everything. And now it's here, an actual game, for actual stakes. It's here. Like you said, it's like Christmas. Hopefully Mike McDonald will give us another Christmas present, because just like he did, when the Ravens slapped the 49ers around on Christmas last year. That was a nice gift from our future coach.
That was fun to watch. Yeah. And so this is the 11th hour episode, and all our fellow brethren and females out there that did their podcast last night and yesterday and this morning, they're all just sort of like waking up and getting their coffee and kind of easing easing their way into the games today at 10. I was like, you know what? Let's be a little bit different and wake I'm going to wake my fat ass up and be able to
get my football brain going.
Yeah. So I did. Ready. So here we are this morning, and the Broncos are coming into Seattle, and I kind of joked around a little bit yesterday about, is anybody wearing their Orange Crush shirts at the game today? I wonder if they're going to see anything like that. Man, back in the 80s, we used to hate John Elway, and those of us that, his wife is actually from the Pacific Northwest. So there's a few times I saw John Elway and his wife like hanging out at a bar. It was so weird. I was like 22 years old, and there's freaking John Elway, like, the horse himself, right?
What's he doing there?
I know. And so, they were our dreaded rivals back in the 80s because we were in the AFC West. And here we go now. We've got, AFC versus NFC team. And so, some of the things that we're going to talk about today, like our first question is, what players are you looking to see do well today or improve? Maybe they were on the squad last year and we want to see them do better today. Who are some players you're looking at?
Well, of course, me, probably like everybody else, we really want to see Byron Murphy in action in a real game. We're ready. Let's go. We're hoping he's doing, he does well today because he looks so great in preseason. They were already double teaming him. So I want to see, I don't want to see more double teaming. I want to see him be the reason they double team and take it away. poor Bo Nix might be running. Hopefully we'll see poor Bo Nix running around today because of Byron Murphy trying to, kill him. Like Aaron Donald used to do to poor Russell Wilson. And we had to watch that twice a year. Now it's our turn. It's our turn to see that, Also, I would really like to see, I'd like to see Derek Hall make a jump, because he looked very promising. So I'd like to see him make a jump this year as an edge rusher. And where I really want to see come back to first season or rookie season form is Reek Woolen, and then my other hope is just Witherspoon just keep doing what he's doing. That's what I really hope for.
Yeah, and for me, I think on offense, I want to see how they're going to utilize JSN better. Yeah. I think that he's such an amazing receiver, and his route making is so good. He does his route trees are usually very flawless, and yet we didn't really key on him so much last year. And I think that the fact that how Grubb is going to use the tight ends and the running backs a lot more should open up some space for JSN to do some pretty good damage against the defenses. And then on defense, I'm going to also say someone I think that needs to do well, needs to improve is Dre Jones. Dre Jones is, Draymond Jones is a guy that comes from Denver. We got him, as a free agent, very high price on our salary cap. But of course, kind of played sort of average last year in that defense that we had. Now you put him in Mike Mack's defense, and I'm really hoping that he needs to show his worth and his value. Otherwise, I could see us possibly moving on from him this year, trading him out to try to get some draft picks, some draft capital. I think the other guys I'm looking for on defense, I love your Byron Murphy thought there, that I think Murphy is going to be someone that we're in the future. And even today, as of today, we're going to be looking for him to be that X factor. Now that Nwasu is out, how can you really bolster that defensive line to really, like you said, wreak havoc on a rookie quarterback this morning or this afternoon. So I think him, and then I think the other one that on defense, again, how like you said with Witherspoon. I mean, I'm flashing his jersey today, but
I got my
who do you got?
Mike Dixon, our punter.
Nobody has Dixon.
I do. I mean, I got this jersey after he did the double punt. Like, how could I not? I mean, dude, and for a while there, he was about the only on the team. He was the only consistently good player. Did his job every goddamn day. I'm like, I'm more than this guy. I got his jersey.
Even when we sucked last year, he was doing a good. Remember against
everybody, he was the one still doing his job.
Against Mike Mack's defense, we couldn't do shit against the Ravens last year, so we had to use Dixon last year, and he did well. He really booted the ball. But getting back to my Witherspoon thought is that I think Devin Witherspoon has the chance to really be like a Hamilton that Kyle Hamilton was used last year or was used in this defense. Is he going to blitz? Is he going to go out in coverage? Where's Witherspoon? I think Bo Nix is going to be like, keying on him to see where he's at on the field. And so I'm really excited to see him do well today. Like I already said about Dre Jones. And then also one more guy, I got to remember who it was now. And then just some of the other rookies that we've got on the team, because this is a new look squad. We're going to be, it's Mike Mack putting his thumbprint on this team, and he was there in the draft room picking up guys like AJ Barner from Michigan, and I want to see how Knight does on defense too as he spells out the starting linebackers. But some pretty interesting guys on to be looking for and improving today. So. Question number 2 is, what are some question marks you have about this new look Seahawks squad?
Well, I know, and we talked about this earlier, even before we went on. You were mentioning Mike Mack's, complex things requires communication, and that actually for once the Seahawks fans they're so loud, it might be hard for the guys to communicate on defense. So what's always been one of our advantages in the stadium might actually be a hindrance for all the new guys, because it's a new system, and you got a bunch of young guys in there that may not know each other and what they're going to do yet. Because I remember, what's his name? Sherm and Cam and Earl. What one of their biggest strengths was they knew each other so well. They knew what each other was already going to do, and so our defense may come out looking not so hot, and may take them a while to really gel, especially with the new system. So it may take them a while. And for once, actually, maybe the Seahawks fans should be a little quiet there. But,
Yeah,
but on the other hand, we want to freak Bo Nix and the Broncos out. So,
yeah,
with the loudness, because it goes
we are
both
loud,
ways.
we are devoted. So yeah, I
Mhm.
highly doubt that's going to happen. But you're
Yeah.
right. What's another question mark? Do you have another one?
Well, actually, kind of to the point you made earlier about on offense. Actually, how they're going to use JSN this year, because I felt like you said last year they didn't use him like that. I will never forgive Shane Waldron for just like, buddy, JSN has a great route runner. Put him in that middle soft spot, that soft spot right in the middle of the field. Don't stop making him do what DK and Tyler Lockett are already doing. Make him be that guy in the center, that just does a really short route, comes back and gets that little soft spot in the center that. I wanted to see them use JSN like they used Puka Nacua over on the Rams, at least in that first Rams game against the Seahawks last year when Puka just annihilated us in that little middle spot. That's where I want to see them do JSN. I'm hoping Ryan Grubb actually does that, as opposed to Shane Waldron and Pete Carroll, who just did not do that last year. And I'm like, why?
Yeah, that was
And I'd like to see them use their tight ends that same way too.
Yeah.
Just that guy, like they would never throw to Disley. And I'm like, guys, every time you throw to him, he gets 10 extra yards. Why did we stop using him? And I want to see them use Jake Bobo. God damn it. Because we saw, again, another one is like, every time we threw to him, he makes some spectacular catch in the end zone, especially red zone. I want to see Jake Bobo be a red zone weapon, because he was.
Yeah.
And then we stopped using him the rest of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, I concur with all those points. And then the offensive line for me is going to be the biggest question mark in this entire game, this entire season, because all five guys have never played together before. And those of I've listened to my bro Jackson Bevins and Cigar Thoughts talk about, the offensive line has to gel. They have to be able to communicate well with each other. And this is going to be a huge test today. Are they going to do well and be able to, again, communicate, not having played one game together as a full five squad? You have, Connor Williams, brand new center. I know that they were practicing into the late evenings there at Renton between Gino and Williams. But then, so how does that play into it? My other big question mark is left guard. And the left guard and center positions are huge with this whole squad, because again, their job is to make sure that the short distance from A to B is a straight line. And if you've got a linebacker that's blitzing up the middle, are they communicating to make sure they pick that guy up? Right. And so the other pieces of that too is we need Geno Smith this year. If he goes down, God forbid, even if he just pulls a hammy just because he just barely kind of did a little scamper and comes up lame, and you're betting that Sam Howell is your guy. I am livid that we didn't. I mean, I liked Sam Howell when we picked him up, and when I saw him, he was having a really rough preseason. And I shouldn't say that. And I had to apologize a few times on our podcast, because I did because he started 17 games last year. I thought he was going to come in and just sort of tear up the second string defenses that he saw this preseason. But he was above average, but he didn't tear it up. Yeah. And that's kind of what I was looking for from the very experienced. Yeah. Again, 17 games in the NFL consecutively.
But it was on the Commanders, though, so I give him a little bit leeway, because he might have picked up some bad habits. Yeah. But I feel like he should have done a bit better. But I'll give him a little leeway, because he was on a trash team, and that can really mess up a young quarterback. But he's got moxie. So.
Yeah, you're also helping me with my argument, though, that he was on a Commanders team and he did probably pick up some bad habits. However, the fact that he was able to he did pretty well, I think, in Washington. I'm not saying, I mean, his statistics don't prove that because his interception ratio was at 21 interceptions last year to 17 touchdowns. I get that.
Maybe he's
I'm not,
being more hesitant because he's trying not to do the
yeah,
interceptions. So
yeah,
that can make a guy question himself a bit more
right.
and make him like
So,
hesitate on what to do.
yeah, the other thing too that I have to give him some grace is the fact that even him and Grubb both said that Mike Mack's defense is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And so he was going up against that
Mhm.
that defense every day in
Yeah.
practice. And so I really worry about if Geno's not on the squad, if he's not starting, how that's really going to play a humongous role this year. And we all have thoughts of the Seahawks winning double-digit wins this year. They don't get to double-digit wins with Sam Howell, I don't think. In my opinion, I think they go 7 wins, maybe 8, if he was to go down today, God forbid. So
Unless
anyway,
oh,
real
sorry.
quickly, I'll just end my
Yeah.
again, the question mark I have is this offensive line, and are they going to be able to gel enough to be able to protect Geno, keep him upright, but also make the lanes that we need for K9, and because that's a big part of the Grubb offense too, is believe it or not the run game. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
Oh, well, I was going to say, I mean, I think the only way we could get double digits with Sam Howell is maybe if our defense, you know, maybe is going to be better than we're thinking, is maybe they'll actually kind of tear it up and make because it makes a huge difference is if your defense can get on the field and get off the field quickly and really keep the other offense stuck in a hole. Because I would see all these beautiful punts that Mike Dixon would do that they would land them in the 10-yard line, and then our defense last year would just let them run down the field, the other offense run down the field. Like they could not get off on third down. If our defense can at least do that, I think our offense will be fine, because our offense was fine last year. And even when Geno was, we even won some games with
Our backup.
Our backup, what's his name?
I totally forgot about last year.
I know, right? It's like put it out of your memory.
With
Drew Lock, that was his name.
Yes.
Yeah, and so it's like if with Geno, even if we had an even average defense, we could have done better last year. Our defense was just bad, except for that one game against the Giants.
On Monday Night Football. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was
so
fun.
my other question is to the offensive scheme's brand new in the NFL.
Yeah.
How is that going to translate? And I'm not a big Husky fan. Of course, I'm a big Cougar. I mean, and go Cougs, by the way. That was an awesome win.
Huskies and Cougars united again around the Seahawks.
Mateen, what's his name? The quarterback for the Cougars, 190 yards rushing yesterday. What the hell? Anyway, so you have an offensive team that has not been tested against defenses in the NFL. Number one. Number two, my concern is on defense. How are the guys on defense going to take to Mike Mack's scheme? And have they really learned what they needed to learn? They kind of came off a little bit like, oh crap. I think Mike Mack went in the preseason and was like, oh man, these guys need a lot more time together because we're sort of behind. Mm-hmm. So did they make up ground from in the 3 preseason games for this game today? That's the other question that I have. I'm not too concerned about in looking at the first 2 NFL games of the season. I'm not too concerned yet about the new kickoff, the dynamic kickoff that we have in the NFL now.
I'm actually more concerned about these referees and the illegal formation crap. Did you see that fucking Ravens Chiefs game? I had to stop watching it after a while. I got so pissed off.
You know what? I disagree. I think the refs got that right. I mean, how many times did we see that? It sucked as a fan to watch that. It was really hard to watch.
But except they were calling it on the Ravens only. They didn't call it on Juwan, that guy, that offensive lineman. What's his name? Juwan something.
John Taylor, I think is his last name. Yeah.
He was doing the same crap from last year, and they weren't calling on him. He got it, but the Ravens would be like just off by 6 inches, and they get a flag. But then the freaking Chiefs, as usual, could do whatever the hell they wanted and not get called, doing some of the same stuff or worse, and not get called for it. It's like, I don't mind the refs flowing flags as long as they're doing it, consistently. Like, the Ravens are being called for illegal formation a whole lot. and the referees are calling it, but then they're calling it on the Chiefs too. They see Juwan Taylor, and every time he does something dumbass thing, and then they call it. That's
Yeah.
fine. That's okay. But
Yeah.
I hate it when it's very clearly one-sided, and that's what
Yeah.
drives me nuts. And that's
Yeah.
another question mark I have for this game. And I saw the refs kind of keying in on O-line last time. It's like every little time they, little jersey grab. Oh, it's a hold. Fuck you. There goes your 50-yard run from K9 or run from Gino. But then the other offensive line could do would strangle our guys with their arms and they wouldn't get called. That's another big freaking question mark, is what are the refs going to do? And I hate that I have to consider that.
I know.
It's something you can't control. Yeah, but it does affect the game.
Yeah. And
I'm
that's
sorry.
going to be every single game, though, either now all the way through to the test of time, right?
I know.
So the other thing, too, again, there's some new rules.
I get to rant about it.
Yeah, there's some new rules now in the NFL, and so we're all, especially like the horse collar tackle or from behind. I forgot what that's actually called, but tackling the guy from behind is going to be another big one that would add another 15 yards to a 30-yard play, and all of a sudden they're in the red zone because of that. And so I think today, and I saw it in the first two games, the refs are also on preseason too. So they're going to get a bunch of calls wrong. It's going to be like 25% more errors with the refs today than I would say.
But as long as they're calling it on both sides, that's fine. If it's fine if flags live to the ground, like if the Seahawks are holding, okay, fine. But if the freaking Broncos are holding, then they should be called too. That's all I want to see. Is it's okay if the refs are throwing flags everywhere as long as they're calling the same on both teams. That's fine. That's fine. I just get mad when it's very clearly on one side.
We've talked about what players we want to improve. We talked about the question marks we have. Now it's time to predict the score. I want to make sure that again, the Seahawks are 6-point favorites as of 8:15 this morning. 41.5 points over under. That's what the fans in the desert, the Vegas desert, are saying. What do you think the score is going to be, and predict your score for today?
I think it's going to be close, just because, like we just said, everybody's kind of new to this, and the Broncos are kind of new. They got a new quarterback in there, and Bo Nix looks really steady. He's probably definitely steadier than Sam Howell. So we'll see. I think I'm looking maybe a low scoring game. I'm kind of 20-23, maybe. Hopefully Seahawks on the 23 side of that. I think it's going to decide by a field goal or something like that. I think it's going to be kind of close because, again, everybody's new at their respective things.
For me, it can go two ways. I think if Bo Nix comes out and just really completely shits the bed, which I'm hoping he does because it's his very first NFL game, and he's an Oregon.
I'm hoping if Byron Murphy does give him hell, that's probably what's going to happen.
And he's an Oregon Duck, which both Cougars and Huskies can agree that we hate the Ducks. But the other part of it, if he does really poorly today, and Mike Mack's defense is a pain in the ass, and they really confuse him, it could be a 20-point Seahawk win today. 20 to 27-7 kind of a thing. However, which I don't think is going to happen, I think Bo Nix is actually one of the best rookie quarterbacks, again, in preseason that we've seen in a long time. And I noticed that, in a lot of what he did in Oregon, where he has wheels, he can get out and run and pick up first downs and just really annoy the defense. He's also gritty. He can take a hit, gets back up, fixes his shoulder pads, and let's go. And he's accurate. He's got that mid-level, that mid-tier throw that, God, it just frustrates the hell out of defenses because he's so accurate. So if that's the case, then I could see it being like a 23-16, a 23 to, what did I say earlier? 23-17?
Something like that.
Yeah. 23-17 is what I thought it could be, because a 6-point win for Seattle either way, just like the Vegas odds has us winning by 6. And so that's what, to me, is going to be the big X factor today, is how Bo Nix does. And usually I don't key on one player. Like one player doesn't make a whole game, but when
When
it's
it's a
the
quarterback?
when it's a rookie quarterback, then
Mhm.
yeah, it can make or break a game or a whole season for you.
It
I
can't
think
it
Sean
can.
Payton
It's
is
not
the
a
other
that's
X
no
factor
joke.
that we haven't talked about today.
Mhm.
That I don't really like Sean Payton because kind of the way he's just kind of a dick, but he's a smart dick. He knows
He's a
exactly
smart
what. Yeah,
You can
and
be a
he's a
smart person and still be a jerk, you know?
yeah, and and he's got the experience that Mike Mack doesn't have, and he knows
Mhm.
how to make some really interesting decisions, and
Mhm.
who to start and all that stuff. I'm really kind of concerned about that too.
Yeah,
Why, on paper, I think Seattle should win by at least 2 touchdowns on paper.
on
We've got an
paper.
elite offense. We've got should be an elite defense, if not yet, but eventually.
Right.
But it's not going to be like that today. It's going to
I
be,
don't think so.
either probably a 23-17 win for Seattle.
Yeah, and that's why I go with really close game, like 3 points, because, on even on paper, it's kinda more because we have an entirely new coaching staff on both offense and defense. So I think I mean, our one advantage is we do have a quarterback who's experienced and did great for us last year, but, again, new coaches, new offensive stuff, and, but, yeah, we might have the advantage because the other quarterback's a rookie, but that
Yeah.
could also be an advantage for them because, we don't have much film on him except, what he did in college, and as a Husky fan, Bo Nix is really good. He
Yep.
is good. That it's too bad he and Penix had to be in the same division because if Bo Nix was in one of these other places, he'd be annihilating them. And that's
Yeah.
it was like my butt would be clenched through the entire anytime we played the Oregon Ducks because Bo Nix was really good.
Yeah, he's legit.
Um,
He's legit.
he's legit. He's very
But
good.
what's funny is that,
Mhm.
you've seen it in the past
But
where a
he's still a
quarterback,
rookie.
yeah, you've seen it in the past where a quarterback actually got spooked, and then
Hmm.
they just literally could not. I want to say there was a couple of one of the Carr brothers, David Carr. Remember, he
Yeah.
was a number like 3 pick overall or
Yeah.
something, and and then some of the defenses would leave the game going, "Oh, that boy's scared. No, he's
Yeah.
scared. He doesn't know how to
Yeah.
play the game anymore because he's so scared."
I don't think Bo
This
Nix is gonna
defense,
get spooked
this defense,
unless what
this
I was saying before, Byron
yeah.
Murphy makes his life
I
hell back
just gonna
there.
say that
He
this Seahawks
will. Yeah.
defense has an opportunity to really,
Mhm.
really put their, let the Seahawks defense live rent free in Bo Nix's
Mhm.
mind going
Yeah.
forward. It's very
Exactly. That
possible.
would that would
So
be that would be our I think if Byron Murphy can get back there and treat Bo Nix the way Aaron Donald always treated poor Russell Wilson and Gino, yeah,
yeah,
then we'll win. I think we'll have a double digit win if Byron Murphy can get to Bo Nix. I
all
think
right.
that'll mess him up.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm
Yeah.
so happy we're here.
Mhm.
The off season is over. We waited since February to get to this day.
Mhm.
And thank God for the Mariners, by the way, even though I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. But thankfully, they gave us a good summer to kind of get us here,
Yeah.
just something to follow. Last summer sucked. I mean, it was like, oh God,
I know,
it was
right?
just like, when's
Yeah.
football going to get here? When do they
I know.
report? So
Um, Actually, one more point. I was
yeah,
remember you asking earlier is how is Ryan Grubbs more coming from college and how is his scheme going to fit in? I think it kind of the one of two ways thing. I think it could be a lot of college schemes don't work in the NFL. However, we've noticed that the NFL, the way it's evolved over the years, is definitely getting more pass intensive, which is more like college. And I think Grubb could actually, if he does implement some of that stuff, could actually might catch the NFL off guard, especially NFL defenses, and especially in the first few games. I think it could catch him off guard, just being something new. It might take a while for defenses to adjust, so we might have
yeah,
that advantage there, or it could not work at all. So we'll see.
yeah. You're right. I mean,
Especially if our O line collapses.
the way I noticed in watching Husky highlights,
Hmm.
because I'll
Yeah.
openly, I'm not a big Husky fan, so I never watched Grab's scheme in
Fair.
live, except for in the Apple Cup.
Yeah.
Um, really good at short pass, and then run short, run short, and then boom, explosive.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw Penix last year in the
Yeah.
national championship game. Like I think it was in the middle of the first quarter, you saw him go downfield and hit a 30-yard, a Dunze,
Yeah.
or so that's the way that this offense is. So you're going to see a lot
Mm-hmm.
of running back catches. You're going to see a lot, which we never
Good.
seen over
Which
the
is
last 2
good.
years.
That's
Yes,
a good thing.
it
One of
is.
my biggest complaints, like the last few years of Seahawks offense, is not doing the short passing offense, not using their tight ends in the middle field, not using JSN in the middle of the field, not throwing to their running backs. Because if your running back's getting stuffed, then just put them out short yardage away like a receiver. If you're up against a good D line that's stuffing your running back at the line of scrimmage, or your offensive line can't hold, so make your running back get out there
Yeah,
just for a short pass and let them run.
yeah,
And they never
exactly.
did. And they do that. They do it like once every several games. And hey, look, it worked. And then they never do it again. And I'm like, guys, use your running backs, because Kenneth Walker can catch.
Yep,
I don't know
he
about
can.
Charbonnet, but Kenneth
Yeah,
Walker can. K9 can definitely catch. And he'd be dangerous as a catching running back.
yep,
Use your running back like a hybrid receiver.
right.
And I want to see the short passing offense. That's what I'm hoping Ryan Grubb will do, is short passing offense. And then just as the defense is kind of getting used to that, then you hit them with the long pass,
Yeah,
especially if our O-line is questionable. The short passing offense will help a questionable O-line because it gets the ball out faster. Don't do
yep,
these long developing deep shots, because all you need to do on every down is go 5 yards. That's
right,
all you need to do, and you'll eventually run into the goal line.
right.
And it'll
Now,
keep the other defense on the field and tire them out with the short passing offense. It's
yeah,
deadly.
I'm not too keen on their defense. Denver's
Yeah.
defense is not. I mean, their back end is really good, but like
Mm-hmm.
you said earlier, with some of the safety and their DB play, but their linebackers, I believe they got Cody Barton over there. We all remember Cody Barton,
Familiar
right?
face. I
Yeah,
remember
yeah, and
from
he
that
missed so
guy.
many assignments in Seattle. It was
Yeah.
crazy. But then all of a sudden he would flash, right? And then in the
Yeah.
backfield.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm going to see him probably do today. But their defensive
Hopefully
line
he'll do
isn't
it
that
today.
great. Yeah, the D line's not that great in Denver. But again, we can't give them and then make them look like they're spectacular
Right.
because our O line hasn't played together.
Right.
So all these good questions, all these good
Mm-hmm.
things. I'm so happy that we got I got my fat ass up early on a
I know, me
Sunday
too.
morning.
This is fun. It's getting me revved up. Like, I'm ready. Let's go.
And it's so happy that you're able to join me, Vega. And
Thank
I was
you.
texting you last night, like at 10 last night. I'm like, hey, I want to have this idea. Let's do an 11th hour episode. Everybody's
Yeah.
got their episodes done and their
Mm-hmm.
podcasts are
It's a
done
great idea. It was a
yesterday.
good idea.
So we'll
uh,
hope to do this almost every Sunday. I can't say I'm going to do that when I'm up there in Seattle, when I'm actually
mm-hmm.
at the game. Because
Oh no,
I'm
yeah,
not.
you got to do all the tailgating stuff
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything. That's half the fun, is the whole going down there for the environment. Like sometimes the games are so expensive, I won't even go to the game. I'll just go down for take the light rail down, go down for all the pre-stuff, because
Yeah.
sometimes I know there was one time that American Express did a thing had Walter Jones out there and you could get pictures with him,
Yeah.
on a big game. It was fun.
Where are you
Today
gonna
I'm
watch?
going to mom and dad's house for margaritas and tacos. So,
Today you are. So I was just going to ask you, were you
yeah.
watching the game? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm here at my pool house
Nice.
in Palm Springs area,
Nice.
and got some of the fellas coming over this afternoon. I have poker every Sunday here, so and
Fun.
I let them smoke cigars in my house, and it's like
Yeah.
109 degrees today,
Oh,
so it's
yuck.
nice to have air conditioning and smoke
Mm-hmm.
cigars, play some poker. So
Yeah,
they'll
I'm a
come
true.
over. We'll watch the 5 o'clock game as we're playing poker tonight. But
Nice. Yeah, I'm a true Seattleite. Anything above 80 and I start to melt, I'm like, no. You're gonna keep me in the dark.
It took me 2 summers to finally get used to the heat down here.
Mm-hmm.
So, but as of this coming week, we're going to be finally get into our season, which is under 100 degrees. So I can't wait for
Nice.
my pool season to start. But it's just been too
Yay.
damn hot to even. You go out in the pool and it feels like it's bath water. That's not
I
fun.
know the pool
Like,
will get hot, and I'm like, this
yeah.
is not refreshing. Do a
All
little
right,
engaged.
Vega.
All right.
Well, thank you so much again for everybody watching, and definitely want to thank again, if you've not liked or subscribed for the show, we do have a channel. You can go on YouTube and type in The Loud and Devoted and listen to us talk on the 11th hour. But I'm hoping to get you back on sometime or do another show this week.
That'd be great.
So it's not the last minute. But then we'll do another one maybe next Sunday before the Patriots game. But we can't think about next Sunday. It's only about
I know
today.
it's this Sunday is the
One game at a
goal.
time.
One game at a time, one play at a time.
Yeah, exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody, go Hawks.
Go Hawks, let's go.
We're here. We made it, baby.
Here we are. Let's roll, man. I'm ready.
Okay, take
we're all
care.
we're all we need.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.